So, Jorge Masvidal. Jorge Masvidal put out a tweet just now. You can go find it at Gamebred Fighter. Twitter. Very short video, very well produced. I mean, I'm talking like 6 seconds long. No images, just a digital graphic with Colby Covington's voice. And Colby is doing a past interview. They grab the audio and Colby says, and I quote, "The only friend that I have is Jorge Masvidal. Boy, if anybody knew the stuff that we had been through." That's it. Fade to black, roll the credits. 100,000 people have seen that. This went up 9 minutes ago. 100,000 people have seen that now. It had a text attached. In 160 characters or less, which are the rules, Gamebred told the audience more is coming out on this story, and he's starting tomorrow. That in the business is what we call a tease. He has teased us. He has teased us basically with blackmail, except he didn't say he wants anything to make it stop. He says it's going to happen for sure, which is what makes it fair game. Now, that's a dirty and nasty move. But he got 100,000 people in 10 minutes to watch that. He got me to come over and talk to 2 people with some window sheen, and more people will be following suit. What can Davidson Figueiredo, Brandon Moreno, and Francis Ngannou learn from Jorge Masvidal? Well, you have 3 guys that are complaining they're not getting enough money, and you have 1 guy who's never said the word money. Jorge Masvidal. Jorge Masvidal is bringing attention to his fight successfully. Do you know what it costs to post something on Twitter? Do you know how cheap and inexpensive that is? You only have 160 characters. If you want to use every damn one of them, you're talking about 15 seconds of your life. In 15 seconds of his life, he is now beginning to tell a story. And not one that we have to wait for. Whatever dirt he's got, he's going to start rolling it out tomorrow. Now, he won't give you everything or the story's gone. He'll give you something and then make you tune in the next day and the next day. It's called promotion. Promotion is one thing. It is storytelling. Francis has an incredible story. He didn't tell it. I've heard the story. I loved it. But he did not tell it. I heard from somebody else. Figueiredo and Moreno don't have incredible stories, but they got a story. It's not bad. There's a direction to go. They decided the right idea before their last fight was to tell absolutely nobody that they were fighting, which is one reason they started at main event and they now can't close out a night. They want to go and do that a 4th time, and they won $1 million. Everybody unhappy in their contract, everybody who thinks they should be getting more money, and everybody who's talking about money needs to follow the lead of the guy who's not. When's the last interview you saw where Masvidal said he needed more money? How about never? And it's not because all of a sudden Masvidal lives some minimal lifestyle. It's not as though Masvidal is not a prize fighter as well. Masvidal knows how to get the money. I don't get the money from Dana. I get the money from the people to give it to Dana, and then I get to trickle that. That's the way that it works, and that makes sense. That makes sense to anybody. You have other guys that are putting their foot down saying, give me more, and if you don't, I'm not doing anything more in the contract. That's no problem. I'm not asking you to. As a matter of fact, when I negotiated this contract, it was based on the fact that you'd be a deadbeat scumbag like the other 556 I have for contract, and I'm ready for that. I'm completely ready for you to do nothing, but you're not going to stick it up my ass. You're going to stick it up yours, because if you look a little bit lower, there's a clause in there where I'm going to share and let you participate in the good night. 3 guys complaining about money, 1 guy not complaining about money. The 1 guy not complaining about money is telling a story for his fight. All good promotion is, guys, all promotion is storytelling. A good promoter is good at telling a story. A big fight is never on paper. It's never, well, this guy won the Olympics and this guy won the Olympics twice. Let's put them together. That resumes don't go very far. Everybody's mind defaults to the fact that they do. Well, I'm this good, I'm this accomplished, this is what I did. I was in Abu Dhabi. He didn't qualify. Whatever it is, it just gets really weird. Really, really weird. I'll even see people on the other side of it saying, well, they don't like me. They're not promoting me. What does that mean? You weren't promoted. What does that mean? You didn't have enough billboards? You didn't have enough countdown shows? You weren't on Fight Pass often enough? The marquee wasn't that. What would you like them to do? You have a story. Your story either catches on or it doesn't. Big mega fights have nothing to do with about who's fighting. It has to do with how good the story is. I don't know if boxing is the oldest sport in the world, but it's within the first two. It's either boxing or wrestling. Before bats and balls and fields and courts and all these things were even created, somebody grabbed somebody else, which makes wrestling the first sport ever, or somebody punched somebody else, which makes boxing the first sport ever. One of those two, for sure, is the world's oldest sport. The world's oldest sport got surpassed in one night by a guy who had never boxed named Conor McGregor, taking on a guy who had never lost at boxing called Floyd Mayweather. Not only did they do a huge blockbuster night of business, they sold out 4 arenas during a press tour where no chance of a punch was being thrown, but fight fans lined up, packed to the rafters to get in. They had a story to tell. You could not match the resume of Conor McGregor, who had never boxed, against Floyd, who had never lost at boxing. But you don't need to match the resumes because the resumes aren't promotion. You'll go through the headlines, you'll read many people complaining about money. You go to Jorge Masvidal's, who you've never heard complain about money. He's not asking for it now. He's promoting by telling a story. Whether this is blackmail or not, wherever this goes, it's being done by the one guy whose name I mentioned in the last 6 minutes who is not bitching about money.